I'm so glad you all could come. We first had an idea to do something like this last year in December when we first met Bohdan, Tataryn. He was here for winter break with Mary Deckard. I hope everyone has seen the newspaper article that was the end of July, I think it was, on the front page of our local paper. His mother was an exchange student that stayed with Mary Deckard years ago, and she went over to Ukraine, met him when he was just very, 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 very young. And with the war and everything, he was planning to go to school to become a professional piano performer, classical music. And of course, with the war, that didn't work. And Mary took it upon herself to get a demo tape and took it up to Lawrence University eventually. And the rest is history. And here he is. They were so impressed with his music and that. We did print out the names of the pieces he will be playing here. Let's see here. So that's there. The proceeds, we decided to go with Lutheran World Relief. Our women's group here does kits that we send, and they get gathered from all over the country. Quilts, school kits, healthcare kits, and that. But Lutheran World Relief also provides shelter and food and even cash for women and children who have crossed the border into Poland, plus very needed medical supplies to the hospitals in Ukraine, plus post-traumatic stress counseling and a lot of other things that are really needed in Ukraine right now, and other assistance. And there's a few flyers around that I posted for that too, if you want to know where the money is going to. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Bohdan Tataryn, and he's going to play some beautiful music for us, and you might want to mute your cell phones so we don't have any.
First of all, thank you so much for coming here today, and also I would like to express my gratefulness to the pastor, to the church for letting me perform here today, and to Mary Deckard, who was patient enough to listen to all those hours of me practicing so I could perform here today. It is my first solo performing, so it is really it means for me a lot that my first performance will be aimed to the aid to help the Ukrainians back home. So it means really a lot for me, and also Ukraine will be celebrating its 32nd year of independence from the Soviet Union in 4 days. So it also it means a lot for me, and thank you for your support and prayers for Ukraine. Thank you so much. So the first piece I'll be playing today was composed by a Ukrainian composer. I believe it was Viktor Kosenko, and it was composed in 1922, which was 1 year after Ukraine was the war for its independence to the Soviet Union. And in this piece, composer, I believe, tried to express all the despair and anger which every Ukrainian experienced back then, because they got occupied by the Soviet Union. And this piece was written in a pretty dark B minor, so yeah, you can hear as a very dissonant and dark chords throughout the whole piece. Yeah, it doesn't really sound nice, does it? But even though it was about those terrible events, the piece ends with a very light and bright and happy chord in B major this time. And which I think means there's always a hope in our hearts, even though even during the darkest times. So yeah, hope you enjoy. So the next piece I'll perform was composed by, let me check, by Mykola Lysenko this time. Another famous Ukrainian composer, famous in Ukraine, but not famous in the US yet. This might be one of my favorite pieces because during the composing of the piece, composer used a lot of Ukrainian themes, folk themes from folk music and dances and in general from folk Ukrainian music. And one of such genres which he used was Duma, and from Ukrainian Duma might be translated as a ballad or a song about the glorious past. And usually in Ukraine such songs were performed by kobzars, which were blind musicians who traveled around the country and talked about different famous events of that time, or the times they lived during, or about their glorious past, for example. And they, as I said, they were blind and often persecuted and destroyed by the authorities, from authorities of the Russian Empire and later Soviet Union. Returning to the piece, you will be able to hear how the composer tried to imitate the sound and the mood of the songs which were performed on such instruments like kobza, and you will hear those things in the slower parts of the rhapsody. So, yeah, hope you enjoy. The next piece I'll be playing was also composed by a Ukrainian composer, but sorry. But this time it was Stanislav Dudkevich, and the work is called Humoresque, which means a joke, or something like that, a silly little joke. And to be honest, I don't know why it's called so, because it might be so because during the piece the composer changes the mood of the piece, or he plays with a tonality, or with meter, or with rhythm, but actually I don't know. So just please enjoy. song without words. And this genre was created by Felix Mendelssohn, another famous composer. And personally, I always thought of those songs as songs to our loved ones. And so even in this following song, you'll be able to hear those little 16 notes, which I think you can interpret as a trembling of your heart at sight of your beloved. Polish composer, Chopin. You probably heard of him, he's famous. Oh, my God. See, I apologize. So the next piece will be by Chopin. He's a famous Polish composer this time, and I decided to include this etude because why not? I really like it, and it was interesting to play it, to perform it. And throughout the piece, you can hear those kind of like side, or questions. Maybe you might interpret them whatever you want, like something like this. For me, it sounds like a question. And throughout the piece, you'll hear a lot of those questions, and they never get answered. So it's kind of a mystery. What is this person asking about? And like, who knows? piece for today will be a Ukrainian folk song, and it seems pretty nice if you don't know the lyrics, and it's about the guy who suffers because a girl doesn't love him back. So it's, yeah, poor guy, poor fellow. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Bohdan. I know that was a lot of preparation for you to do your first solo. That was an amazing concert. Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming here today. You do have refreshments downstairs. Please come downstairs. You can talk to Bohdan for a little bit and fellowship with one another. There is a lift, an elevator off as you go out. Turn to the right if you need so. Otherwise, the stairs aren't too steep over here to the left. So please come downstairs. I know a lot of people brought cookies and things, so please come down for some time of fellowship too. And thank you once again for all those donations and coming here.